Right, good afternoon. My name is Scott Haslam. I'm the branch secretary of Leeds number 1, and I have a guest in Rob Wotherspoon, who is currently a member of the National Executive and Postal Executive seeking re-election. And as per our communications on social media this week, Rob is very much one of our recommended people you should vote for, and we've invited him on, or we've had discussions about him coming on to sort of take any points that may come up. So if you do have a question, just put it in the comments. If not, then I'll have free range to grill him for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So Rob, over to you. If you're going to give an icebreaker of who you are, background, and set the scene.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. And look, first off, thanks for having me, and thanks very much for the recommendation from Leeds number 1. It does mean a lot to me. I go way back with you, Scott. But obviously, I'd see Leeds as being one of those branches in the same category as Bristol. A big, well organised branch that's very well connected to its members, not afraid to have a row when it needs to. So the recommendation does mean a lot. I have been up, and you've been good enough to invite me in the past to address the mail centre, spoken to drivers, spoken to delivery workers, and I think Seacroft was the main one we went to. I've not been able to get up this time, just with the sheer amount of work I've been doing with recruitment more in the South and Midlands areas. So I do hope to get up to Leeds at some point in the opportunity, but at the future. But as I haven't had the opportunity this time, I thought it'd be good to just come on and have a chat with you. In terms of who I am, I live in Bristol. I'm from Bristol. If people are confused by my accent, I grew up in Liverpool. This is
people are confused in my accent, and it's because I'm from Yorkshire. But anyway, we're all that.
Well, God's country, isn't it? Yeah. So I started in deliveries. Worked in deliveries. I think I was rep about 23, 24, led my first dispute at the age of 24. Later moved on to the area reps role, represented the whole Bristol area in deliveries. Got a real understanding of that. I moved on to branch secretary. You will know, Scott, branch secretary is a great role for getting an understanding of all the different members and all the different functions that we represent, and how everything works more widely in the union. So I was branch secretary for five or six years, and then in 2021, I was fortunate enough to be elected onto the national executive and the postal executive. So we were coming out at the back end of COVID, going straight into the national dispute, and now onto dealing with all the issues with that are coming down the track around the takeover the USO. So I think it's fair to say it's been a baptism of fire, but I would hope that people would look at what I've done in that time, how I've applied myself, and the quality of work I've done, and think that I deserve another crack at both committees. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Excellent. So I'm glad you picked up on a couple of things there. So as you rightly pointed out, you have visited Leeds on copious times for different reasons. Sometimes because you was seconded to the North East Division, you visited the business base and those sorts of meetings. But actually, when the dispute was on, I mean, credit to you, we did get you a pound of flesh, didn't we? Really, because I think we went to Seacroft, we went to I think Sheepscar, I think we went to Goldaway, Pontefract.
Yeah, you had me on a tight schedule.
It certainly was, and I think you were very grateful for visiting Pontefract. It's the home of Haribo, which you did buy.
That's right, and I was back.
Yeah.
I was back in Pontefract a few months back for the Pontefract Licorice Festival.
Excellent. Well, you ought to try the Rhubarb Festival as well in Wakefield.
In Wakefield, okay, yeah, I'll look out for that. Yeah.
But that, to me, is the size and amount of the person that you are. That you have taken even before Martin came in about connecting with the workforce. It's something that I witnessed during your branch secretary's years, that members are always there at the forefront, and actually the reps as well. And you was one of the key executive people that took lead on the reps that were horrifically dismissed or conducted through that dispute. So I just wonder if you can just talk a little bit about the importance of, significance of that dispute against our reps, and what's that impacted, how that's impacted on our members, and then the importance really of continuing what you did before into, I suppose, Martin's leadership under the new GGSP for the Reconnect initiative.
Yeah, right. Okay, so there's two really big meaty topics there, and I want to make sure I cover both of them with the credit they deserve. So I'm going to deal with them as two. So firstly, the disgraceful attacks on our members and representatives through the dispute, through dismissals, various conduct penalties, wrongful suspensions, and so on. And I think the first thing I'm always very keen to say about this is most average members do not realise the scale of this attack, and also how despicable some of those attacks were. I still feel there's a story that needs to come out about what people were put through in terms of not just the fact that they were sacked on trumped-up charges, but the way that the business seemed to prolong the agony. So people were out on suspension for months, months on end. And I spoke to a number of those individuals throughout the process, and it was clear it was a very dark time in some people's lives, what they went through, and you end up in this position where you can see that they're in a kangaroo court. Anything anything they say, I think of an example. This is the sort of thing they used to say. If people admitted to the offence, even if it wasn't, would never have justified dismissal under normal circumstances. But they say, "Look, I got it wrong." They'd say, "Well, you were guilty, so you should have known better. You've admitted you did wrong, so bang, you're gone." If people said, "Look, I didn't do that," they said, "Look, you're denying you did it. So you haven't come to terms with what you've actually done. So you're a dishonest person. So bang, you're gone." It was, heads I win, tails you lose sort of approach. And charges were concocted, and people, mostly union reps, were clearly targeted to take them out of the workplace and to weaken. The union. So over a period of time, we had to battle to get those people either their jobs back, or many of them, frankly, had it with the business, said, "Actually, I'd rather have the compensation. Thank you very much." Or in the case of people who were subject to compulsory transfers, we got those overturned. So I was at the TUC, the Trade Union Congress, where all the unions get together earlier this year, and they did a video about sort of various union successes. And what they said that I hadn't actually realised was that what the union collectively achieved through the Faulkner Review was the biggest overturn of dismissal decisions in trade union history. And what that shows you is Royal Mail got it badly wrong with those people, but also that the union stuck by those people to get them justice. You know, I was in Yorkshire. I think Beverley. That's YO postcode, right?
Hull code.
Oh, sorry,
east of Yorkshire.
That's a Hull postcode, isn't it? Yeah. And it was on. I went at a very similar time to when Simon Thompson was on national television, and the picket line was just really a really pleasant, nice place, lovely people there, same as any picket line around the country. People who were passionate about defending their jobs, defending the service for the public. And so I had this contrast between the reality of the picket line and what Simon Thompson was out saying on national television, which was that there was violence, complete lie, completely fictitious. There was no evidence whatsoever of any violence on picket lines. That there was sexism, racism, all this stuff. It was complete nonsense. Postal workers deserve a lot better. And so, you know, it did become an obsession for me, I have to admit, and I did take it personally. And I thought we've really got to do. We've got to get these people justice. And to our credit, you know, we did. And there's nobody was missed. Nobody was left behind. There haven't been a raft of people going, oh, sorry, I should have been included in that, because we made sure we spoke to every branch. You'll remember at the time, we spoke to every branch on a weekly basis, going, look, has anyone been caught up with this? The other point that people often miss about this is Royal Mail's strategy in this process was to try and exclude nearly a quarter of all the cases we put forward. That was like their main thing that they were concerned with. They wanted to say that those cases were not dispute related, and therefore, you know, it was bad luck for those members. We didn't accept that. We pushed back on that, and we got all of those people again included with the same protections as everyone else. So, look, it's a joint effort, as always. You know, we work as a union. We don't work for personal recognition, but I do feel like, you know, I hope people would recognise at least that I've worked on that with diligence and passion, and that's what I think I bring to the job about any of the issues that affect our members that I'm working on.
On the Faulkner Review and what our union sort of achieved really is unprecedented, as you said, in terms of the TUC, because actually, as you know, when you take over the branch secretary, quite frankly, you end up dealing with a lot of tribunal stuff. And what came out, the reason why the employment tribunal exists, was to take out, I suppose, workplaces going out on strike in support of colleagues, in effect. Now, I know there's been examples in your neck of woods where, you know, you've balloted for industrial action because, you know, colleagues have been dismissed and they have got jobs back.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, we had a national dispute, which part of the settlement had to include a review with the intention of bringing people back together without the need of going to an employment tribunal. Now, obviously, we would have done, but it just shows that collective spirit and coming together in true solidarity can achieve what actually the employment tribunal was put in place to stop, if that makes sense. I just think that's quite an interesting sort of development that we managed to achieve as a union, really.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember as well that Royal Mail's position from the outset was, we've done absolutely nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they clearly had something very, yeah. And so I think, so that covers off the first
moving on to the
first
reconnect.
point. Moving on to the sort of the reconnect side of things. I mean, look, I think, you know, we as a union, our connection with the members is of the most, you know, vital importance. We're not, you know, I like to think we're not remote from the people we represent. We come from the industry. We represent. You know, speak to people in other trade unions, ask them the last time they saw a union rep. It'll probably be some time ago. So yeah, you have to get out. I think I've been out in. I've certainly been out in every nation of the UK, every division of the UK, whether that's meeting representatives, often meeting members in the workplace. As you say, prior to reconnect, you have to get out there. You have to hear what the concerns are. You have to tell people what's going on, and you need to have the you know, difficult conversations from time to time and take some stick from time to time. But better that than be remote from your members and not hearing what's going on. And Martin's been keen to you know, reinvigorate that with the Reconnect programme. A lot of that in recent months has developed into being about a particular focus on obviously speaking to our existing members, but also making sure that we're recruiting new entrants into the union. I've spoken to new entrants yesterday, and we recruited some of those into the union. There is a hunger there for people to be represented. We do need to make sure that we improve those terms and conditions, and to do that, we need to get as many of those new entrants into the union as possible. That's the only way you have a bargaining position that can do that. And the numbers that being recruited of new entrants and the portion that are not that are members of the union is going up, but also the number of new entrants is going up as well at the same time. So it's something we have to get a grip on, and that's why, you know, myself along with other colleagues have been out in the branches recruiting. But branches have also been doing a really good job getting new reps, getting new members, and so on. Because look, frankly, if you don't have members, you don't have a union. So that is our absolute bedrock. And I've always thought that, you know, whether as you know, local office rep, delivery area rep, you're looking at it, you're going, I want to have as many members as I possibly have, because I want that bargaining power when I go into the manager's office. And yeah, we need to keep that going.
Absolutely, I totally agree on that one. Certainly, as the branch secretary, then that becomes even more vital, isn't it? But one thing that's sort of weaving the two together, and talking about judicial system and sort of trying to deliver for members, because I have this particular view that the agreements work when both parties are working to them agreements, but invariably, as we saw through the dispute, it seems to be a bit one-sided. So I do think that there's a need there for the union to speak with its members about escalating genuine issues that they have in the workplace through whatever judicial system it is. So, for instance, we've got a new raising the concern agreement being signed off. Makes it a lot easier now to report an issue, and that's a contractual right, isn't it? So particularly now with the new starters, I found that there's quite a few of them questioning about their overtime. So again, you could just have the conversations with rep and hopefully speed it in, but there's quite a lot of times when you're hitting a brick wall. So actually using the raising concerns and effectively push it through to the judicial system on a deduction of wages or non-payment of wages, then I think that's something that we should be doing a bit more of. I'm just wondering if that's something that you'd encourage, whether it's something you actually enacted, particularly when you were branch secretary down in Bristol, and whether Adam has continued it or instated it, and just generally talk about professionalising that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't disagree with anything you've said. I think often you try and resolve issues with a word in the ear of the manager, but I'm always keen if that's not worked, to get that into the process, whatever the appropriate process is for that. So look, you've mentioned a sort of individual grievance for individual issues. That's worth members getting in the advantage of the new process that we were missing, frankly, from the old processes. There's a written record then of that grievance through the app. There are other ways to submit the grievances as well. It's really important that you have your version of events as a member. If you've got an issue, that raising concerns allows you to record your version of it. You're then entitled to a meeting, at which point union rep get your union rep to represent you on your issue, and then equally there needs to be equally, where there are collective issues, we still have the IR framework. Reps have the ability to raise collective disagreements on the issues, and those can be progressed. And it's always this is union rep basics. Keep a paper trail. It'll be your friend more than it'll be managers. That's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah. No, I that is extremely good advice to anyone that does pick up that anything that you do, keep a log of. There you go. We do have technology problems.
Hello, Scott. All right, you're back again.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure you held the fort well. Yeah.
I was just sort of staring into the distance, wondering what was going on. So anyone watching probably thinks I had a malfunction. But I had no idea whether it was my problem, your problem, whatever. But anyway,
it's definitely my problem. I'm out in the field, as it were, so I don't have reliable Wi-Fi. I'm purely running off a mobile phone. So there you go. But we're back. We're at. So I mean, to be fair, I think we've covered most of what we were going to talk about anyway, and it was very much a pleasure, Rob. I think you've done an outstanding job of the last tenure, and I do hope that you are re-elected along with everybody else that we believe is a well-balanced national executive, geography-wise, skill level-wise, and particularly on our postal executive lists, then we're covering even a broader section of the Romal group. So with that, is there anything you'd like to add to wrap up, or shall we call it a day?
Yeah, look, I say it in most members'
your call to vote.
But you are the union, so use your voice, use your vote, get active, stand to be a rep, stand up for yourselves, and we'll all be better off. You are the union.
Excellent. So with that, unity is strength. Thanks, Rob, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Scott.